What's up, Twitter world? Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Welcome to the Austin Ingels Movie Show. I am your host, Austin Ingels, and this is produced by Radu.
What's up, y'all?
Do you ever beat off in the shower, Radu?
Not since I was a kid.
Do you ever have any homosexual thoughts? That is none of my fucking business. Welcome to... No, that's good. That's fine. You took it serious. That's just a quote in the movie if you would have watched it. Radu, have you seen this movie?
No, I haven't.
Breaking news. This is a Christmas movie. Our first Christmas movie. Did I just realize this last night upon my 100th rewatch? Yes. Am I ashamed of that? No, I'm not. But yeah, dude, this is a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas. That just blew my gourd back. So yeah, if you want to have a ranking of Christmas movies, Enemy of the State's got to be up there. Has to be. A little housekeeping up top, though, first and foremost. Radu, do you have anything you want to plug?
Just my Instagram. That's rad.u on Instagram.
Sure.
Check out the link tree. See everything else I got going on there.
The link tree. And if you see a fly going around the room, that's right. That's a real fly. Breaking Bad style. Supposedly one of the most acclaimed episodes of the series, the episode with the fly. I hated it. So, did you ever watch that?
No. Well, no, I take that back. I watched Breaking Bad, but like not.
You don't remember that episode?
Nah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very annoying episode, but apparently it's like, you know, revered or whatever, but I hate it. But a little housekeeping for me. We're not talking about Breaking Bad. We're talking about every Thursday and Sunday at the Speakeasy at 8 o'clock. How's it looking? I can see you staring at it.
I could change it. I could fix it.
What?
I could fix the camera.
No.
I could.
What?
Should I?
No.
We're going then.
Yeah. You think it needs to be?
Nah.
All right. You're tripping me out, though. You're like all fucking squinty at me. Every Thursday and Sunday, catch me at the Speakeasy, of course, on Congress in Austin, Texas at 8 p.m. And then every Friday and every other Saturday, maybe every Saturday, who knows? Crazy Conches. We're doing it big. We're Entourage. And then May 18th, Shakespeare's. And May 25th, Velveeta Room, oldest comedy club in Austin. We're doing it big, baby. Before we begin, did you go to the movies yesterday?
Did not end up going to the movies yesterday.
It was a rainy day. Did you stay inside and get some shit done?
I went to an all-you-can-eat buffet and like one of those fancy ones,
yeah.
And I ate and then I passed out and I like woke up at like 1 a.m. and then didn't sleep all night.
That's an incredible day. That sounds like my Sundays usually. Yeah. I'll get home from work and the show and just pass out until like 1 a.m. and get up, and yeah, I'm up till like 5. It's a vicious cycle, but that's life. I still haven't seen any other movies in theaters besides Sinners, but I am willing to go see that again, just on a day that, you know, we're both available. So
Tomorrow, dude.
I don't know if I can tomorrow.
Oh, okay,
you gotta
fine.
fucking chill, dude. You gotta let me figure it out. When did this movie come out? This came out in the year 1998. Yeah, we're going back to the 90s. And if you're wondering, where can you watch this movie at? I got the answer for you. Hulu and Disney Plus.
I think I saw you could watch it for free on Tubi also with ads.
I love Tubi. Tubi's fire. It really is.
And I saw it was on Tubi as well.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Radu. Thank you for the assist, if you will. I appreciate that. I blew up the building. Why? Because you made a phone call. Summary of the movie. Corrupt National Security Agency official Thomas Reynolds, played by Jon Voight, has a congressman assassinated to assure the passage of expensive new surveillance legislation. When a videotape of the murder ends up in the hands of Robert Clayton Dean, I just realized he has 3 names in this movie for some reason.
Did you know that most assassins have 3 names?
Yeah, John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald. I think those are the only 2. Oh, fucking the one that shot Trump.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, why do they do that?
I don't know.
They could just like not do that.
Dude, I think we're like programmed to like, I think it's a psyop.
It's a definite psyop.
For sure.
That's good shit right there.
Oh no, dude, I don't know. That's like weird, right?
No, I agree. That's some psyop shit right there. Anyway, the videotape of the murder ends up in the hands of Will Smith, a labor lawyer and dedicated family man. He is framed for murder. With the help of ex-intelligence agent Edward Brill Lyle, played by Gene Hackman, rest in peace, Dean attempts to throw Reynolds off the trail and prove his innocence. What a motion picture. The impact of this movie. This is Will Smith's first dramatic action thriller. Similar to another 1998 movie we discussed, Truman Show. The movie was ahead of its time, but this one essentially predicted the Patriot Act.
Yeah, these Hollywood script writers have to they're chasing it, but they're chasing information. They're looking for there's stories and these concepts. Like, I'm sure they got tipped off somehow by some journalist having some conversation at a bar with some people they shouldn't know.
Yeah, and it was the late 90s. I mean, just like the internet was coming, to fruition, and yeah, the use of security and surveillance was on the rise. So, I mean, it's just like us with AI now. A lot of movies are coming out with AI, and some of them will be prophetic, some of them will be, none of that makes sense. So, it kind of, it's not really, like you said, are these dudes in a psyop? That's going to be the word of this episode, psyop. Think about it. I will. What's your favorite? No, I'm fucking with you. More impact of this movie. Like I said, I brought up the Patriot Act. Following the September 11th attacks on the enactment of the USA Patriot Act, as well as 2013 revelations by Edward Snowden regarding the NSA's PRISM and Boundless informative programs, Enemy of the State has been retrospectively regarded as prescient. The disclosures revealed extensive electronic surveillance capabilities, including the collection of emails, phone calls, and browsing data both domestically and internationally. True that. In a 2013 article for The Guardian, journalist John Patterson argued that the film Enemy of the State helped normalize the concept of ubiquitous government surveillance in popular culture. He suggested that such Hollywood thrillers may be softened up, that they may have softened public opinion to accept the reality of mass data collection and diminished privacy in the digital age.
I feel the same way about Harry Potter.
What? That
they're using it to maybe show that there might be magic, and we're not gonna be scared of magic.
That was a wild pull.
Sorry.
No, that's cool, man. If any way you can find a correlation, that's art. Yeah, dude, this God, you just fucking threw me off. I was gonna fucking get into that shit, and you do that. Sorry. Fucking Harry Twatter. You motherfucker. I can't. You just fucked me up. Yeah, dude. The fact that they, after September 11th, when they were using the nation's fear to instill more power, I mean, I think that's been done with everything, especially following COVID. All the protocols they had during COVID, and then you just realize later were just all bullshit. I think we can look back retrospectively and realize that they took away a lot of our privacies by saying that it was for our own, safety and security.
I'm not doing anything sketchy, so they can watch. They're the weirdos
for sure. And at one point, Gene Hackman brings up that there's 100 keywords that the government looks for, like bomb, president, Allah.
We just get demonetized.
We probably did. That rings true today, because that's what YouTube has, keywords that they look up that they throw you at the bottom of the algorithm if you bring it up.
But since we voluntarily are content creators, it's up to us to stay within the guidelines, and we just self-censor. It's so weird.
Yeah. The big podcasts all edit their podcasts within the first 10 minutes. They don't say certain words. That's just crazy to me. These are comedians. These are they're my peers too, obviously, but we're unfiltered. This is supposed to be the last frontier of being able to say and do what we want, but we're being censored in this area too. YouTube has gone from being able to, what I'm calling them out. Oh, well, I mean, is it not true? I mean,
It's
is
true.
freedom of speech. So,
But that, I think with that said, that's why there's so many Patreons and have access to this unfiltered things and that content. That's
yeah.
like
But
raw.
I have a feeling at some point that's probably going to be attacked too, because everything,
Everything's at stake.
everything's at stake, and just crazy. Not really. What is the word I'm looking for here? Shit, dude. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, what do you have something to say? I thought you did. Oh, you were gearing up like you. I thought you were, but I'll never. Do you remember where you were when 9/11 happened, and then like afterwards?
Yeah, I was in first grade, and
I was in second.
yeah, we got a year apart, bro. We're a year apart.
Yeah.
I was in first grade. I think like I didn't really understand what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my friend in my class. Her mom was a flight attendant, and she was actually supposed to take a flight to New York.
Oh shit.
So like that was kind of like a big dramatic point.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out.
I remember everyone like had like something to do with New York at that point. Like I remember someone from my dad's work was like, "Oh, his daughter lives in New York." Like, who gives? Looking back now, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, New York is massive. I'm sure she was completely fine. She wasn't anywhere in the area.
I mean,
it was
the air pollution, people getting cancer from all the burning. I mean, the firefighters at all.
Oh yeah, it's still to this day people are dying from it. It's horrible to joke about, dude.
I've been to Ground Zero.
How could you do that?
I've been. When I
How
went to
could
New
you
York.
make jokes about that?
I'm not making a joke.
I know. I'm fucking with you.
Me a joke
I'm
about
calling
9/11.
you. I'm calling
Well,
you.
here's the deal. Being brown growing up after 9/11 was tough, bro.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, it was tough,
Yeah.
man. Like everyone, I'm like ambiguously brown. They thought I was like that kind of brown.
Yeah,
dude,
I would've.
Get this, in my art class, and I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I had a manila. We had to make art mats that we laminated. It was a manila piece of paper that we drew with crayons and colored pencils. Why did I make a placemat that had a bunch of like terrorists being attacked by jungle animals?
I don't know.
And it just said like Iraq.
What?
Dude, crazy. It was
That is
crazy.
gnarly.
And that was
Did they say something to your parents?
No.
Was this pre 9/11?
This was post 9/11.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I guess just let me I don't know, weird times.
Yeah, I have for sure brought this up before on podcasts, but I got taken. We obviously, I think everyone got taken out of school that day early, and we went to my aunt's house, who is no longer with us. Rest in peace to my aunt Diane. And the guy she was dating, my uncle Jesse. I still call him Uncle Jesse, even though they haven't been together for fucking 25 years. Like,
That's Unk, bro.
yeah, that's Unc for life. But I'll never forget this. He is not very. I mean, he'll tell you himself. He's not a very smart guy. Everyone in our family knows. He literally said everything is going to be different after this, and he was right. I'll never forget that to this day. It rang true. You know, just some of those things from your childhood that people say that you never forget.
Something real similar, since we're talking about like our privacies, when there was like the Internet Privacy Act that came out, and people were like getting all worried about the Pirate Bay going down and like our information being sold and being collected, and there was like all this stuff going on in Congress. And I was like in high school and I was telling my friends, dude, like our privacy is a commodity they're buying and selling, and I didn't really realize what the fuck I was saying,
But now,
holy shit.
yeah, dude, you were right.
Usually.
Yeah. Oh, chill on that. Anyway, that's my boy. When I first watched this movie, Radu, when did you first watch this movie? I'm kidding.
I watched some reviews today.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. Anyway,
I'll just say this.
don't even fucking step on something.
I just Will Smith is not the best actor to me.
That's crazy. Will Smith was my favorite actor growing up. That's what I was about to literally say. When I first watched this movie, Will Smith was my favorite actor growing up. I rented this movie in Galvo when I was probably 8 or 9 from a place that no longer exists. I can't remember the name of it, but my grandma would take us there and we'd get ice cream cones, and you could rent movies. I mean, that's just small town America in the 90s.
My
I
mom
could
worked.
cry from the nostalgia.
Dude, I know. My mom worked at an Albertsons, and they had like a video rental section. It was like right by the customer service, and I remember just like you'd walk in, and you just see all the freaking
VHSs.
VHSs, and it wasn't
Something
even
about
DVDs yet.
VHSs hit different.
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
don't know why. I can't explain it. Maybe that was because that was the first. Maybe kids feel that way. Like younger kids feel that way about DVDs.
About Blu-ray.
About Blu-ray. I don't think they do, but
I mean, you love Blu-ray, dude.
I love DVDs.
90s kids love DVDs.
I love physical media. That's what you're looking for here. I love CDs. I love vinyl. I love all that shit. So, and they're making a comeback. But the problem is they're a little more expensive than. I went through a vinyl phase probably 3 or 4 years ago, and they were $25-$30. Now everything's like $50.
I think that's the record label deals and like the artists trying to make more money with inflation and stuff too.
I guess. But you see that? Taylor Swift has like 8. I would hate being like a Swiftie and like dedicated, because Taylor Swift, when she puts out an album, has like 8 to 12 versions of the vinyl or cover. And I'd buy that. Eminem's last album, I bought both of the versions of the album. I mean, like,
and real fans do that shit.
Real fans do that shit. Like, I spent $100 on Eminem CD.
But the thing about having like creating a cult following, and this goes the same with movies and like posters and people wearing T-shirts still of movies and stuff, is like it takes offering all of that stuff to the fans to make them feel engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psyop. Some people meditate. Some people get massages. I blend. This movie was a TNT and TBS classic. Maybe even on USA, your Psych network.
I probably have put this on, seen it on TV.
Yeah, oh for sure. And then let's see here. The part that I didn't want to get to because it absolutely frustrated the hell out of me. Rotten Tomatoes. Let me talk to you. 71% Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience score 78. This should be at least an 85. This is absolute blasphemy. What the fuck are we doing here?
I want to have a word.
Let's have a word.
We need to take a
honestly though, this is when Rotten Tomatoes was like, legit and like gave serious scores. So this is probably an accurate score if I'm being serious. Like a 78 is probably okay. That's fair. Because, like, now they give fucking everything over 90 when it doesn't deserve to be, so.
It sucks that stuff loses its integrity and its, like, its spirit and, like, the core, like, values. Do you think Rotten Tomatoes holds true today as, like, a...
went up my ass.
The clip?
No homo.
But do you feel like there's other movie review places to get movie reviews from?
Yeah, not to plug other movie podcasts, but there's several, like the Big Picture rewatchables. They're on the same network. Sean Fennessy and Chris Ryan, I think, are the who's of movie reviewers now. They're our modern day Robert and Ebert, dare I say.
I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah, you don't watch movies, so you wouldn't know. You're not. You're not a movie guy. I love you to death, but psyop. Oh, that's my fucking guy back there. Anyway, let's do some lores or legends, if you will. We got a lot for this one. This is a special film. This movie pre-ages the use of high-tech and social networks used by the government to spy the daily activity of a citizen in order to disclose his or her life. Years before the rising of networks turned into social mass media production, such as, Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, Snapchat, Telegram, TikTok, etc. It also preludes cancel culture and government smear campaign tactics. Wow, what a film. The film portrayed the NSA as possessing near ominous surveillance capabilities. In a PBS Nova episode titled The Spy Factory, intelligence experts clarified that while the NSA can intercept communications, the process of connecting and analyzing such data is far more complex than depicted in the film. General Michael Hayden, who became NSA director shortly after the film's release, expressed concern over the public's perception shaped by the movie. Wow. Really? He didn't like that?
I mean, like what? You're going to say Swordfish was like a good representation of like how hacking was? It's Hollywood hacking. It's Hollywood.
You've seen Swordfish? That's a good one.
No, I just know to talk about it.
Okay. You son of a bitch. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. He remarked that I made the judgment that wouldn't survive with the popular impression of this agency being formed by the last Will Smith movie. According to journalist James Risen in the book State of War, The Secret History of the CIA and Bush administration, Hayden was appalled by the film's depiction and initiated a public relations campaign to counteract the image represented. If you have nothing to hide, why are you going against it? You know what I mean? That's pretty sketchy, bruh. The NSA refused to cooperate with the production. Aerial footage of their headquarters in Fort Meade, Maryland, had to be shot from public airspace.
I mean, that's fair. They gotta be like strict. They don't want to be like, well, they just let any filmmaker in. What if they pulled like a Fargo?
Argo?
Argo.
I like that. You tried. Get the F out, right?
To fucking say I don't watch a movie.
He said, I definitely don't watch it. He goes, Fargo. Nailed it. Mic drop. Fargo. The film is notable for including several actors later known for prominent roles in minor supporting parts. Casting director Victoria Thomas attributed this to the appeal of working with Hackman. A technical surveillance countermeasures consultant was brought onto the crew to advise on authenticity and appeared in a cameo as the spy shop clerk. Oh, okay. I know what he's talking about. That's good shit. In a nod to Hackman's earlier work, Lyle's NSA personnel file features a photo of the actor from The Conversation and from the 1974 film The Conversation, which this film is considered the unofficial sequel to that movie because it has Gene Hackman, and he's essentially the same character. Gene Hackman turned down the role of this movie several times, but he was ultimately convinced to sign on after a phone call by director Tony Scott. Will Smith later signed on at a relative price bargain, even though he was like the highest, most famous movie actor at this point in the 90s, because he wanted to work with Gene Hackman. You're either incredibly stupid or incredibly smart. That's a Gene Hackman quote from the movie. What do you think so far? I can't believe you said Will Smith is a bad actor.
Yeah, I'm not like sold on his acting. I don't know.
There are a couple parts that you can tell he's trying a little too hard in this, but this, like I said earlier, this is also his first technically dramatic role. So
yeah, fair enough. I will say there was one part I didn't know. I've been getting into watches lately, and they feature a Casio watch in there. I think it's like a Y.
Yeah, there's a lot of watch stuff.
It's
in
like
here,
it's like a Y something. They
They
say it was like $12 or something. That watch goes for like is so much more expensive than what they.
Oh,
said
that's
it
at
was.
the end of the movie when he hands Will Smith the stopwatch and says, "Within 4 minutes, you need to leave because these guys are good." And he said, "Oh, thanks. This is probably $12 or $13." You're saying that's like $300 now?
Yeah.
Okay. Shit of the 90s. That's like Champion sweatshirts. They were like $10 and now they're like fucking 60. So, nostalgia. Now we're going to get a little grim, okay? We're going to talk about Gene Hackman's death. In the final months of his life, Hackman's neighbors in Santa Fe, New Mexico noticed that his health appeared to be declining. He and his wife ceased communicating with family and friends. His wife, who was Hackman's sole caregiver, was last seen at a CVS pharmacy on February 11th, 2025, and returned to their gated community. On February 12th, his wife called a local private physician and made an appointment for that afternoon, complaining of respiratory issues, but she didn't show up. His wife later died in their home a short time from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. I don't know what the fuck that is. Hackman did not seek help. Authorities believe he was unable to comprehend her death due to Alzheimer's disease. Hackman died in the home around February 18th, just a couple days later, which is fucked up, at which his pacemaker recorded an abnormal rhythm. He died from severe heart disease, complicated by advanced Alzheimer's and kidney disease. Hackman was 95. On February 26th, 8 days after Hackman had died and 2 weeks after his wife was confirmed dead, the bodies were found alongside one of their dogs named Xena, R.I.P. The other two dogs that the couples had were found alive in the home, and the discovery was made after maintenance workers were concerned that the couple had not answered the door, and they called security for help. Security personnel saw the bodies through a window and alerted authorities. Although Foul play was not suspected. The deaths were deemed suspicious enough to warrant an investigation.
What kind of security personnel isn't checking in constantly?
I
That's
know, right?
so
Especially
weird.
because I remember seeing pictures like 6 months ago of Gene Hackman and him being like super skinny and frail, which he's in his 90s, folks. Let the man fucking live out his last years. Obviously, he's, in his golden years because he pisses his pants. I'm going to write that down. Anyway, yeah, dude, I remember when, obviously, this is a few months old, so this is pretty fresh. When it happened, everyone was, was it carbon monoxide since they both died and there was a dog dead. Everyone suspected something suspicious, but it was a little less sinister and just more sad, His wife died first and he had Alzheimer's, so he didn't know what to do, so he just ended up dying later. It's pretty fucking sad, if you ask me.
I got nothing.
God
I'm glad they didn't have cats.
Because the cats would have ate them?
Cats would have ate them.
I thought dogs sometimes eat owners too. No? It's just the cats?
I don't know.
I for sure heard cats do it. That's fucked up, though. R.I.P. Gene. He's a hell of an actor. He kills it in this movie. Hoosiers, I mean, he just... R.I.P. It's a sad way to go out, but, he was old. He was in his 90s. His wife was a lot younger than him, though, I believe. So that's pretty fucked up that she died first. Reboot proof.
Is it reboot proof?
I think it would have been made into a Netflix series. In October of 2016, ABC announced that they had greenlit a television series sequel to the film, which would have Jerry Bruckheimer return as producer. The series would take place 2 decades after the original film, where an elusive NSA spy is charged with leaking classified intelligence. An idealistic female attorney must partner with a hawkish FBI agent to stop a global conspiracy.
So,
However, nothing came to fruition.
Probably because of all the Eric Snowden shit.
Yeah, Edward Snowden this would have been a few years after him. Yeah, dude, I'm glad this didn't happen. This was also a Tony Scott film. I don't think I brought that up. Sorry. Did he look this up if he killed himself? I don't think Tony Scott did. I know his brother is also a director, and his brother might have killed himself. Tony Scott might be still alive. Yeah, Tony Scott's still alive, and I'm an idiot. No, he's not. He did die. Yeah. Tony Scott died, right? He's the brother of Ridley Scott, who direct, Gladiator, Gladiator 2. But yeah, R.I.P. to Tony Scott. Holy shit.
A bunch of legends. That's why we do these movies. That's why we do these reviews. I should have
fucking deep dove into his death. We'll do another Tony Scott movie, and then I'll deep dive into his death, because that's fucking crazy. Okay. We're going to get to likes. Sorry, Radu. Will Smith. This is one of his best roles. I think Will Smith running down the tunnel in his robe, is iconic to me. That's an iconic shot. And I love a Will Smith F-bomb. He drops a couple in this movie, and if you grew up with Will Smith, he was a clean rapper, and he never cursed in his raps. And if you were a fan of The Fresh Prince, this just feels like a grown-up role, and that's exactly what it was. It's elevated him to another level.
I did watch a lot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Boom. Great fucking show, dude. Great fucking show. Will Smith performed most of his own stunts at the urging of Tony Scott, who wanted authenticity. That's cool. Yeah, Tony Scott loved doing stunts too, like jumping off shit. Oh, yeah. What? What did I do?
I mean, I think we missed the deep dive pun went right over our head earlier.
Come on. We're right at it. The deep dive? He did a deep dive into the... Where did he go? What did it say that he jumped off into? Let's fuck it. We'll just do it right now. He jumped off the Vincent Thomas Bridge. Where's that? In the San... Oh, in Los Angeles. That probably isn't very high, is it?
It's a bridge.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of bridges that you can jump off of and still live. Oh, no. 365 feet tall. Jesus.
Bridge jumpers are crazy.
That's bleak and depressing. Maybe I'll do The Bridge. Have you ever heard of that movie?
No.
Where they fucking... It's a film about it's a documentary about the Golden State Bridge and how people jump off that. And like for a year straight, the filmmakers like tricked they tricked the people of the Golden State Bridge, and they're like, we're gonna film I think weather patterns and shit, when really they were just filming people jumping off the bridge. It's a fucked up movie. It's crazy, but it's pretty good. Anyways, back to Enemy of the State and likes. The cast is a who's who of the late 90s. You got Jamie Kennedy, you got Jack Black, you got Seth Green, Jason Lee, Scott Caan, and Jake Busey. My God. I mean, the first three alone went on to... And fuck, Jason Lee went on to be My Name is Earl, so...
And owns for a short time, owned a skate shop in Denton, Texas, and is part owner of Barley Board in Denton, Texas.
Jason Lee?
Mm-hmm.
He rules, dude.
He was a professional skateboarder for a little while.
I believe it. He was a comic too, I think. I mean, yeah, he's dope. Yeah. Lisa Bonet and her daughter. I like that. Yes, sir. And spy thriller set in Washington, D.C. I feel like that's kind of a hack, but when it works, it's great. I think it's,
I think any movie that uses Washington D.C. as a setting is like, what I watched, Zero Dark 30.
Mm-hmm.
That movie
that
was
a real story.
Yeah, so was this.
No, it's not.
Might as well have been.
Might
Okay,
as
yeah,
well
fair
have
enough,
been,
fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the White House in D.C. is so like, it appeals. It's an American movie.
Yeah, when it's done right, it's fucking great. But like, it's like I feel like it's also a hack if it's not done right. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh man,
I didn't watch
really
the movie.
fucked that
What do
up.
I know?
Dislikes. Radu not watching the movie. No. My dislikes. I think probably I'd have to go with the Patriot Act and the government's ability to listen and spy on us. I don't really enjoy that.
I mean, I don't think the movie caused that, but yeah, the bringing it to my attention. I'd rather take the blue pill. Why'd you unblue pill me?
What that is? Say what the blue and red pill are. Matrix
like in the Matrix, like to me, the blue pill is like ignorance is bliss. I don't know what's
Maybe
going
it's
on.
a simulation. You brought that up because did you know Will Smith turned down the role of Neo in the Matrix to star in Wild Wild West?
I had no idea.
We're in a simulation, dude. Yeah, dude. One of Will Smith's, I guess at this point he's got two very famously roles he turned down. He also turned down the role of Django. So I'll put that in dislikes. I feel like that would have been a sick movie, even though Jamie Foxx destroyed it. Let's see here. It really bums me out, Gene Hackman's death. I know I just went into detail about that. Gene Hackman's death and Alzheimer's really bums me out. R.I.P. to my grandma. Really bums me out. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna get to it. Can't talk about Will Smith this day and age without bringing up the slap. Like I said earlier, Will Smith was my favorite actor as a kid. I loved The Fresh Prince. I loved Men in Black. I even loved Wild Wild West, the aforementioned Wild Wild West. The slap on Chris Rock was the first time in my life one of my heroes let me down, okay? It was a huge deal for me. I know it sounds corny, but imagine loving someone when did the slap happen? 2022? Imagine loving someone for over 20 years and they disappoint you, man.
Why did that disappoint you?
What do you mean? Why? How couldn't it? I was a year and a half into comedy, and Will Smith attacked a comic. Like, I'm on the comic side in that one. Like,
damn.
You can't attack a comedian for saying a joke. That set a precedent for that next year that everyone was like on edge.
That's tough. Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, everything Will Smith did, I loved. I mean, pre-Eminem, the only Eminem line I ever hated is when he said, "Fuck Will Smith." You know what I mean? I mean, it took me 1 year to forgive Will Smith, I think. It was until like the fourth Bad Boys movie. I had to watch that one, and then I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm back on board. That might have been the beginning of 2024, so that might have taken 2 years. Yeah, dude. It really tainted Will Smith for me. I couldn't watch a Will Smith movie. I hated everything he did, dude. It really affected me. I'm not even kidding. It was the first time I've ever been let down by. You've never had that happen in your life? Someone that you looked up to fucking just crushed you?
Nah.
Yeah. It's tough, dude. It was rough.
Right, guys, in the comments, if you can relate to this, like, let us know one time a hero let you down, man.
I mean, if anybody's a Will Smith fan, I'd assume that, like, they hated it because all the Jada shit, too. It just made him look like a fucking cuck. I mean...
That's a big dislike, man.
He won the Oscar that night. I mean, nobody's ever brought that up. I didn't even bring that up. Will Smith is an Oscar-winning actor, and no one talks about that because it's tainted by the fucking slap. It's just this huge news. I hate that fucking fly. It's huge news, dude. It's crazy. When you think of the Oscars, you think of the slap. I think, anyway. I mean, if anybody watches the Oscars anymore, I don't know if they do or not, but... Yeah, dude, I would have...
My bad. Touchy subject,
It's all
man.
right. I had to bring it up. This won't be the last Will Smith movie I do. But, you know, I had to just get it out there. I had to air it out, and I feel great after doing it. Will, I forgive you. I don't know if Chris forgave you. But I'm on the comic side in that one. I'm on the comedian side. I am a comedian. Anyway, 7 fun facts from IMDb. John Voight's character... His birthday is on September 11th.
Alex Jones was saying they've known about it.
Ironically, the surveillance society that Hammersley mentions eventually became the Patriot Act. Only 3 years after the movie. Wow, dude. We brought it up. PSYOP. The building that served as Brill's workplace was originally a Dr. Pepper plant. That's pretty cool. That's a fun fact. We love
that one's actually kind of fun,
Exactly.
you know, compared to the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to throw some of those in there. Will Smith's wife, played by Regina King, makes reference to the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment prohibits governments and civil authority bodies within the United States from searching or seizing anybody's person or belongings without reasonable suspicion and probable cause of the person or belongings' relevance to a specific crime. Also, requiring that warrants be detailed. This is related to the boundaries of privacy and is more or less related to privacies concerning in general, especially mass surveillance as a component of the United States government intelligence gathering apparatus for foreign activity and that of military interest. Wowzer. Second build actor Gene Hackman makes his first appearance at 55 minutes into the movie. Yeah, this is notable for... you know, one of the main characters showing up halfway through the movie, and it's
I feel like that
perfectly
was
executed.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a movie thing they have, like they used to do. It's like
it used to
have
have
a dramatic reveal.
Yep, used to happen more than often. Well, it was a lot easier to not have spoilers with, you know, not having the internet, so that helped too. Here's another fun fact: boxing is on television in 4 separate scenes. Every time they flip to the channel, boxing is on. So that's pretty cool.
Why?
I don't know. Well, boxing is huge in the 90s. John Voight worked with Scott Caan, James Caan, James Caan's brother or son. God, I'm an idiot. He worked with him on another movie in 1998 called Varsity Blues. Shout out to Tweeter and Bud Kilmer. Definitely doing that movie. Have you ever seen it? It's a great fucking movie. Great football movie. Okay. The movie ends with the sentence spoken by Larry King while he interviews Congressman Sam Albert. "You've got no right to come into my home." That's the last line of the movie, as claim for personal privacy, and then the movie ends. Wow. Radu.
Yeah.
This was Will Smith's first collab with Jack Black. What was his second movie?
Ooh, okay. Second movie with Will Smith and Jack Black. Was it Hancock?
It was Shark Tale, an animated movie.
Damn, where
Jack Black is
that
in
one fish is pretty hot, right? That one lady fish is pretty hot.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, hot animated shit. Anyway, now you're going to look it up. What? You know her name? Oh, yeah, dude. Lola from Shark Tale? Yeah. They knew what they were doing. Sorry, I got distracted by fucking hot Lola. Oh, a fishtail, that ain't it. It's Shark Tale.
Why does this fish look like Will Smith?
Right?
How do they do that?
It's dope. Shark Tale was a sick movie. Yeah, Jack Black was the fucking.
That was Angelina Jolie.
He was the shark, I think. Anyway.
No, I'm gonna do a podcast.
And is this a classic, cult, or neither? Classic. I'm going to answer it. It's ahead of its time and predict the future in a very bleak manner, but it's a classic for sure. And it makes you wonder, Radu, I want to ask you this. Is more security and surveillance good or bad?
I think it is good, honestly.
It's good?
Yeah, I'm okay with being surveilled.
Do you feel protected or do you feel
I don't feel
watched?
I feel watched.
You
still.
feel watched.
However, if something were to happen, I like to know that there's like footage available.
Okay. I don't hate that either, but at the same time I do. I hate that anytime you could walk out of your house that you're being filmed.
Oh yeah, anytime you cross a Ring doorbell from across the street, you're being filmed.
Well, I mean, we're being listened to every second of the day by these bad boys right here. So,
yeah, for sure.
And if you don't think we are, you're out of your goddamn mind. That ain't just like that ain't just some conspiracy nut shit. That's some real shit. Yeah, that's not a psyop for sure. Yeah, dude, this movie, like The Truman Show, it's weird. Like we said earlier, the movies of the '90s predicting the early internet, and you know, the use of it and the use of government surveillance and all that, just how prevalent it is today.
I want to know, like, these writers, these directors, who were they getting these their information and inspiration from?
Maybe that's why Tony Scott killed himself. Maybe he found out too much.
Yeah, what were like the means of inspiration back then? Because it's like a lot of these movies that like I'm noticing are like written by or directed by like the same people, or like they're maybe that's just a theme we've been doing. There's a bunch of directors and whatever, but I just wonder what happens in the writing rooms. Mm-hmm. I guess that's what I'm wondering.
Well, it makes you wonder also what happens when you get famous. What rooms are you in? What
changes?
Who are you rubbing shoulders with? Like, how do you become so famous? Obviously, you know, I brought this up earlier. This was the first, from what I can remember, like the first cancel culture, like where they try to cancel someone's life by, you know, ruining everything about them, coming at their character. This happens all the time.
It's almost like a warning, honestly, to whistleblowers, to someone like, you know, this is what will happen. Like, we're scary. Yeah. And it's not like we're scary. That's someone who's like saying something scary, and like they weren't wrong.
Yeah, they take Will Smith's finances away. They take his job away. They take literally, like, he can't go anywhere. He can't do anything because they see him. Which I think some of these, you know, I don't know if the NSA. I don't think they can actually, like, there's a part where Jason Lee's character, when he drops off the essential part of the movie, that he drops the tape into Will Smith's bag. They do like a 360 camera view. Like, they've never had that capability, and I don't think they still do to this day, where you can just do a different view completely that the camera didn't have. So it's crazy, dude, but it definitely spooked me as a kid. I remember every time I'd watch this movie, I'd always get paranoid that there's 1,000 cameras around, even though I was in small town, and shit. I don't even know how many Ring cameras there are in Galva, to be honest with you. I bet there's less than 50% of the houses in that. What do you think? We should look that up at some point. When did Ring and... Because there's always...
Amazon bought Ring camera.
There's always... Here's what I like about movies, too, when there's always like a phenomenon that happens. Like Reese's Pieces after E.T. was a thing. Like caller ID when sales went up after Scream came out. Just shit like that. Just little movie details. I wonder if anything from this happened. I didn't read anything, but it'd be interesting.
I mean, then Y2K coming up in 2000.
Yeah.
You know, leading up to all that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of paranoia.
I'm glad this movie... Yeah, there was a lot of paranoia in the late 90s, and...
Like, the LSD trip everyone was on was coming to an end. Everyone said, I guess in 2000 we're growing up.
Wow.
We're a young nation.
We're
a young peoples. We don't have that much history compared to a lot of these other places in this whole wide world, man. Not to get too existential.
You are getting existential, and it's freaking me out, but I love it. Who gives a shit about that? Yeah. Anyway, sorry, some 7 shifts thing came up. Anyway, yeah, folks, I think that's it. Like and subscribe if you made it this far. Next week we are doing Final Destination. We're getting spooky. Yeah, you've never seen.
I hate watching people die.
Well, you don't have to watch. You didn't watch this movie, and not a lot of people die in this one, so that's not true. But yeah, no, it's this was the reason I'm doing this is because there is a new Final Destination coming out. It is like a sequel, what they do where they reboot and make a sequel of the originals. But I think that this is one of the best horror franchises that they can make because of the technology, and I'll get into that next week. So there's a little preview of next week's episode. Thank you, Radu. Sorry JD couldn't be on again. I'm not going to bring it up. Radu got mad at me.
He's 15 hours away, folks. What can you do?
I brought that up twice last episode, and fucking Radu fucking came at me like I fucking said it every second. But yeah, he is. Anyway, sorry he had to work, folks. He's a busy human being. He's yeah, he'll be back though in a couple weeks. We did talk to him. I told him the episodes I was doing, and he didn't want to do the next 2 at all. So he's gonna be back in a couple weeks. So look forward to that. Maybe I'll have Richie Flo on in a couple weeks. Maybe he'll do 13 Ghosts. I'm sure he's seen that movie. But yeah, we're gonna get spooky the next couple of weeks. So if you're not really into early 2000s horror movies, which I don't know why you wouldn't be because it's great camp. Don't tune in. But if you are, these are going to be great episodes for you. Thank you, Radu. I appreciate you as always. And that's it, folks. Thank you.